Welcome to the court. This is Acker at Basketball.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Accurate Basketball Podcast, Season 3, Episode 20 now. You're here as always with your number one father-son duo when it comes to anything ASUN men's college basketball, outside of play-by-play, of course. I'm your co-host, Curtis D. Acker.
And I'm co-host Mark Acker. Hello, everybody, once again.
Yes, shout out to Jonathan and Justin. That's why I said outside of play-by-play. The Lipscomb announcers, they do a great job. They were really rowdy for their game this week. We'll get into that a little bit later. But this is the final week of us releasing here on the weekend. Instead, I think we're releasing this one Friday afternoon or in the evening. For you guys, we kind of been testing out the times lately to see what works best for you when we get the most viewers, which, by the way, we smashed our viewer count last weekend. Thank you guys for that. Really appreciate that. Didn't quite get the likes amount, though, we were looking for. So I'll ask again, 10 likes. Also, if you're new here or you're been coming as a regular and you haven't subscribed yet, please do so as well, because it helps us out a lot. Definitely with the motivation part of things as well, but factors outside of that as well. But then final week for our team-by-team week in review and upcoming games. Yeah, we're going to switch to the daily side of things instead now that we're moving into ASUN conference play, and that's why we're moving our day as well. We're releasing coming out on Tuesdays now. We'll probably shoot for a 12 o'clock time for that, maybe more in the evening depending on what goes on. And definitely if you got some suggestions on what time works best for you, let us know down in those comments below. But what isn't changing is Acorn's Attic. We moved that up to the front of the show a few weeks ago. Take it away with that.
Acorn's Attic, yes. So today I thought about, right now we're in kind of a rest period of life, being around the holidays and whatnot, and people at home more than otherwise. So I thought rest and recovery was really a good topic for today. Obviously, it's very important in life to recover and get away from things at times. There are a lot of structured rest and relaxation periods when you kind of break it down, right? We have weekends. That's a break from work for everybody, whatever day of the week your weekends are. We've got summer breaks. We've got Christmas or winter breaks, as we are in right now. A lot of people are in winter break from their programs. But we also have things like kind of prescribed 8 to 10 hours of sleep, right? That's one that everybody hears or reads about. That's out there. That's how much sleep you should get. I don't get that much sleep. I don't feel I need that much sleep. I have 5 or 6 hours and I'm ready to go mentally, physically. I feel like I'm recharged and starting my day off and going. So really, I think the topic for me this week was aside from rest and relaxation or in recovery, was finding what works for you. Experiment with stuff if you're stuck, or even if you're doing well, but just sort of try different ways to not only how much time you need to get away from something, but also what you're doing when you're away from that thing. Like for me, I like to, if I'm stuck on something, I'll go listen to some music for a little while that I'm really comfortable with or really enjoy. Or I'll go do a chore outside, I'll mow the lawn or rake leaves, something big, but I can still think about that thing in the background without needing to have it be right there in the forefront. Often that kind of clears my mind and gets it back aligned again.
Nice.
So that works for me. So just something, hope maybe you can try that if you're trying something different, want to try something different.
Yeah, that's nice. I like that. And my verse is kind of, it seemed like your theme was rest.
Yes.
And for me, that kind of you talked about what you like to do personally, some of the stuff that I like to do to kind of rest or to separate when I'm not working, some of that stuff as I'm in my walk here, I'm kind of like, well, why am I finding this as a source of rest? I don't really, this is just more of a distraction than a rest, really. And I still fight here with the flesh and the spirit on those things quite consistently. But this one, Matthew 11:28, come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. This one has been a fail-safe for me any single time I go to it. Because when I get, usually I'll take it, my best form is to take a nap and just kind of have Bible verses playing in the background, a chapter or whatever it ends up being. Right. I think it does some subconscious things as I sleep and rest as well. But yeah, he's a great source for that rest. Another one, Matthew 17:21, howbeit this kind goeth not out, but by prayer and fasting, there. That one is more related to health and healing and even casting out demons. But with that one, that's been taken out of a few different versions of the Bible here now. That all the verses you see here are King James Version. And I thought that one was a really important one because prayer and fasting, even just last week, or a couple weeks ago, wasn't feeling well one day, and I was like, hey guys, I'm just going to prayer and fast today. I'm not I'm not eating it all today. which might seem opposite of what your normal program would say. Oh, you got to eat, you got to get healthy, you got to get strong. No, prayer and fasting is the way to go. And then it took a day. And then Psalms 23, 1-3. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. So just, that once again, that's the source for rest. And once you get that rest, remember who you did it for after, or who gave you that rest afterwards, who recharged you afterwards, and go out and work for him.
Exactly. And rest is not, it's mind, it's body, it's soul, right? It's everything. It's not just not just the physical presence, but as you discussed there very well. So very nice. Thank you for those.
Yeah. Thanks for listening. Moving into what's going on with the basketball world for the ASUN. We're going to start off. We're going to go if you got a game this week and what date that game is. That's how we're going to do it this week, and at the time it's at. And then if you don't have a game this week, then we're just going to, do your week in review, and we'll go from there, and that'll be alphabetically. But FGCU is 5-7 coming into this week. December 20th, they lost 102-80 to UCF. Jordan Ellerby returns to the top of the scoring board for them with 21 points. Also had 2 boards and 3 apples in this one as well. As my voice continues to crack, I should probably drink some water here. So why don't you tell us the big thing that UCF did?
Well, lots of threes in this game from both sides. UCF set a season-high 19 threes in this contest. Both teams started hot, and they didn't stop. Right? UCF certainly didn't stop.
Yeah.
Career highs, though, for Florida Gulf Coast on the 3 front. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, three guys either tied or set new ones. Rory Stewart with a career high of 5 threes. J.R. Konechny now has tied his career high with 4, and then Darren Williams also tied his career high of 3.
Yeah.
It was really good to see them getting that 3 ball back going. A little more on that later.
Absolutely.
Preview for the upcoming game this week, though. On the 28th, they're going to host Fort Lauderdale at 2 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Plus. It's where you can watch this one.
Oops, sorry. Eagles against Eagles.
On Eagle action, exactly. Fort Lauderdale is an NCCAA D1 school. They play in the South Division. There's 6-9 records, so the NCCA records I'm really confused about right now because I had a little trouble with Kansas Christian a few weeks ago.
Right.
But yeah, so it looks like against any non-Division I team, it counts, except for Nova Southeastern, who's in the Sunshine State Conference. They've played games against other teams in the Sunshine State Conference, and those have counted. This one was an exhibition game. I have a theory as to this one, and I'll pop a picture up on the screen for you guys right now. It'll be right in here as you and I are talking back and forth here. But, so according to this, Nova Southeastern is the only team named, but a couple other teams have applied for their Division I program level. And with that would be my assumption as to why this counted as an exhibition game. Nova Southeastern has been a great Division II program. I could see them joining the ASUN as well. They seem perfect for it. Seems like West Florida was the other team speculated on this, and then also Lincoln Memorial was the other team that was speculated to have maybe applied for that D1 status. So we'll certainly see what happens there, but that might be huge for the ASUN as they're down to 7 teams right now with the UAC consortium that they got going on.
Yep.
Only 7 of those remain in the ASUN, though. So coming into this week, back over to the Fort Lauderdale Eagles. 0-3 week. Last week, lost to Embry-Riddle, another Eagle team in the Sunshine State Conference is where they reside. 104-79. Then another Division II team from the Peach Belt Conference, Flagler College, lost 81-75. Jalen Jordan of Jacksonville actually played there last year, so a little fun ASUN tidbit tie-in there.
81-55.
81-50. Yeah, sorry, did I say 65? 75. Oh, thank you for correcting me.
Yeah.
And then Florida Memorial College, an NAIA school. They play in the Sun Conference. That was a 92-54 loss as well. So another game in the 50s. The past 2 of them have been. There's a common opponent between these 2 teams, though. The 2 Eagle teams.
Right.
The FIU Panthers. So Fort Lauderdale lost 104-80 on the 18th of November. That's a high-scoring game, though, for an NCCAA team. And then FGCU lost to the Panthers 89-83 on the 3rd of this month. Fort Lauderdale, not the only ASUN team they played this season, also lost to Stetson 106-77 in the first part of the year. I believe that was opening day is when that was. So what are your kind of keys heading into this week here for FGCU?
Right. Well, I'm really looking for them to be consistent with the 3-ball. We saw that, as we just talked about, in their last contest. To me, that opens up their entire offense when they can shoot the threes effectively. So I want to see that happen in this game here. I think it's a good opportunity for them to get some open looks and really knock the 3-ball down. So that's my first point.
Actually, I got a point here. Actually, let's go key for key this week. We'll do that. We'll do that. Keep building the 3 is one of my keys. After struggling against New Mexico outside of the early part of the game, they were great against UCF pretty much all game from 3. And outside of Rory Stewart, because Rory was really good against New Mexico as well when it came from 3, at least early. And then everything kind of dried up for everyone outside of Rory, as I said there. Fort Lauderdale, though, a 36% shooting team from beyond as well. So that's kind of one of their bright spots. You want to be over that 35. Ideally, you want to be in the 40s, but 35 plus, that's a good number. Maybe even 34 plus from beyond. Yeah, that's a good number. So you want to definitely end up guarding them from beyond. Or if you can't guard them from beyond, that's when you get in that shootout and you all shoot well from 3.
Exactly.
What's your next point?
My next point, own the paint. Both ends of the floor. I want to see Malone. I want to see Tristan Gillouette really own inside and just dominate in there. They've done it in spurts. I think it's kind of been a roller coaster season a little bit for them in both fronts. One thing I saw from the last game, I really liked how Jordan Ellaby was getting to the high post on the dribble and hitting jumpers from the elbows. It really was a nice element to their offense rather than just relying on threes or low post. He really utilized that space very well.
Nice. So. One I got is prepare for a balanced attack. So I do have a key player to watch in this one. That would be Freddie Reeves. He does average about 11 per game, but he's a 50, 44, 86% shooter. So almost 50, 40, 90 there. As I mentioned, I think I mentioned this maybe. He's a bench player. 20 points against Embry-Riddle in that loss, but outside of him, all 3 games that were losses last week, at least 5 guys shot the ball at least 5 times, and it was all kind of around like that 8, 7, 6, 5 number. It wasn't really one guy was in the double digits, and there were a couple of other guys with 4 shots in those games as well. So definitely prepare for that balanced attack.
Comes from everywhere, right?
What's your last one?
Well, I think, and it goes into with Freddie Reeves. Let's not foul him. Florida Gulf Coast leads. They're the worst at fouling. They commit the most fouls per game. So I wrote, keep your hands to yourself. Right? They really just play good fundamental defense. Don't send Freddie Reeves, almost 90% free throw shooter, to the line. They don't need to get any free points in this game. Make them earn it. That's really my third point. Is let's see some good, sound, fundamental defense.
That kind of leads into my last one as well. Actually, play as a team. So I meant more on the offensive end, but same thing defensively. Make sure we're playing good team defense, and that way one guy's not having to go out there and make that foul decision. I felt like they got back to it against UCF a little bit, and compared to New Mexico, it seemed like everyone kind of started individually playing just because they were falling behind so much. It was a sloppy game on both sides. As far as like both teams played sloppy.
Yes, they did.
But they got back to it against UCF. It was a high-scoring affair. It was really, really fun to watch. So just continue. Same thing with the 3. Continue to build off that.
Right.
There. Right. What do you got for your result?
So I think this is a solid win. Fort Lauderdale only committed 9 turnovers against Stetson. I think it's going to be a higher number in this game here. I think Florida Gulf Coast is much more energetic from the defensive end, to the point of how they foul all the time too. But I think they'll create more turnovers and more steals for easy looks. Okay. So I think they'll carry them in that sense. How about yourself?
I agree. I think it's going to be a pretty bombardist win over. I am a little bit nervous with how well that Fort Lauderdale's been able to score. Against like FIU and stuff like that. But I think that with the fact that no ASUN teams lost against a team that isn't a Division I team so far this season, I think it's going to be.
And they haven't really been close games either, most of them, right? There's been a couple that have been maybe halftime or so.
In the first half, it was a little.
It's turned into more blowouts most of the games.
Right, actually, FGCU is one of those teams, New College of Florida, and on their opening night. I don't know if it was their opening night or not. I can't remember if it was. But yeah, the new college of Florida came out.
A
The
little bit
Mighty
of a scare
Banyans
for
came out strong in that one.
Exactly.
Moving into another Florida Bird team, the North Florida Ospreys. They're 2-10 coming into this week after their 105-67 loss on the 21st against Miami, Florida. Cameron Orioles struck again, though, 29 points in 2 straight games. Yeah, that's
Fantastic.
crazy.
One off his career high of 30.
Yeah.
So he's right there. I don't think he's gunning for it. He's just playing fantastic basketball at this point.
He hit a career high, 7 threes from deep in this game.
Yep.
Kent Jackson as well. He also 3 field. I think he only shot 3 times from the stripe. Made all 3, which is a new career high for him as well. Which might not seem like a big number, but for Kent Jackson, he was, if you remember at Jacksonville last year, was much more of a perimeter player. He seems to be fighting to get on the inside a lot much more this year. Want to see that continue to happen as he continues his development in his sophomore season here. And I thought Devin Hines had a solid performance in that second half. Like, he looked fearless in the second half, despite them being down so much. He was ready to go.
Yeah, he commanded the ball. He took the ball in the hole. Yeah, he really played a strong game, and he's had a lot of them, but this one really stood out to be on the eye test for sure.
Yeah,
agreed.
definitely. For the upcoming week, on the 28th, same time, same day, same location to watch, ESPN Plus. They're gonna host Columbia, who's 9-3, coming in the Ivy League school. They lost last week on the 21st, 74-56 to California.
Yep.
New coaching change for them this year, though.
That's right. Yeah. Last year, 1-13 in the Ivy League as a team, and they were predicted to be last in the conference this year. Kevin Hovde, though, brings in a new, fresh set of eyes. First year head coach. Coached last year at our national champion Florida Gators, but he was a former assistant at Columbia as well, so he comes back and as a head coach.
Yeah,
exactly.
Good research. What are your keys?
My keys.
Well, one key.
One key. I'll give you my first key is easy one here. Winning the rebounding battle for North Florida is huge. Columbia is plus 13 on the year on the rebounding differential, and we know that's an area that North Florida has struggled. They're also 13 offensive rebounds per game for Columbia, so they really got to shut Columbia's rebounding down.
Yeah.
I think it's a monster one. Mason Lee leads the Ospreys at 4.5 rebounds per game, and there's some balance there, but that's a low number for a top rebounder.
Mm-hmm.
To illustrate that point a little bit more. Yeah.
No, my first key is defensive glass emphasis. All 3 of the losses that the Lions have this season, it's when teams have had the highest defensive rebound totals against them.
Yep.
Which will lead into my next point too, and that these two probably correlate. But let me know what. Or actually, you mind if I take this one?
Oh, you go number 2 again.
All right. So yeah, mine shut down the 3-point shooters. So
okay.
The team is 1-3 when shooting 30% or lower from beyond. That likely contributed to the defensive rebounding totals that those other teams had in the wins. But they only have 3 shooters on the team that are above 30% shooting from beyond and are healthy. And the 2 of them are out right now. And so you can take advantage of that there. But those players to watch, Blair Thompson, 46% overall from deep on about 4 attempts per night, a little less than that. He was playing his best ball in November. He had a couple games over 20, but he hasn't really come close. He's got an 11-point game, was his highest in December. Still shooting really well from deep, though. 57% from deep on 8 for 14. So, yeah, like that's definitely something to watch out for. I would definitely guard him on the perimeter. Only 50% at the line this season, though, after being a 75% shooter the previous 3 seasons. So I think that might be a good answer for that. Gerard O'Keefe, though, I don't know the answer for this guy. He's going to come off the bench, 46% from deep, same thing, about 4 attempts per night. An absurd 68% from inside as well. So he's an interior threat as well. So I would definitely watch out for him when it comes to this as well. Those are not good numbers to be going against here. But Kenny Nolan is their leading scorer, 16.7 points per game.
Right.
38.6%, so 39% shooter from beyond. That's for the season. Only 33% here in December. So teams have been finding a way to disrupt him. Not on the interior, though. He's a perfect 36 from 36 when it comes to free throw shooting. So do not send this guy to. I guess I said on the interior. Do not send him to the line at all.
Gotcha.
No, do not. What is your second point?
My second one is, let's see somebody besides Cam score some major points here. So Columbia gives up only 30% shooting from threes. Just over 6 3-pointers made per game from the arc, from outside the arc against Columbia. So, which is going to be a challenge for a team like North Florida that likes to shoot the three.
Yes.
So I'm looking at maybe a player like BJ Plummer or Trey Cady. They like to shoot the threes, but they also can get inside.
I think Dalton Game has been heating up a little bit.
Dalton
the
had
past
a nice
few games
yes,
too.
he has, right, exactly. So we need some interior mid-range offense, I think, from North Florida, but I'd like to see somebody take that pressure off of Cam.
I mean, we saw it against Wofford too. Mason Lee did it, so he can be that secondary source. Kent, I'm still waiting for that next level from Kent. I know it's there, and I know that North Florida believes in him. I'm waiting for that game where he really pops off.
Exactly,
and I'm hoping it comes.
Tough one here, I think, with Columbia's 3-point defense, but for sure.
Well, as we talked about, he's been fighting for that interior spot a lot more too. So maybe that can be better for him. And I just put a lot of pressure on him, but that's my third
that's our job.
point actually is don't let the pressure affect your game because you don't have a non-conference D1 win yet this season. You got non-conference wins, 2 of them, but they weren't against D1 opponents.
Right.
Last opportunity to do it here, but don't fret on that. Just go out, play your game. Same thing with you, Ken. I know I just kind of, said, I'm looking for that next game from you. But, yeah, just go out there and play your game. It'll come with time.
Exactly.
So, that's
my
third key.
That's a good way to think about it. Yeah, exactly. Maybe along the same lines, I think for a key for them to win is to slow the game down here. They're getting outscored. They give up 90 points a game. Right, they give up 67 field goals attempted a game, and I know Columbia does like to run it. Mm-hmm. They will try to go, so if they can slow the game down a bit and I think that might help.
I think you told me off camera. It's not from their the amount of shots they're putting up per game.
Right.
It's just kind of
the pace at which they play.
At. Yeah.
Exactly. Right. Yeah, exactly. Yep. And a recent player, Connor Igo, he's a freshman forward for Columbia, averaging over 10 points per game his last 5, so he's really stepped up. 6 is career high freshman, 16 points last game against Cal.
Nice.
But he's also had a 9 rebound game. He's had a 5 assist game.
Oh, so
he's a guy that brings a lot of versatility to their offense. So I think that's a key to maybe helping them by slowing him down. So let's see. Okay, what's going to be our final result here? What do you got for the outcome?
I think I'm gonna do what I did against Charleston Southern last week. I think it's a good matchup.
Yes.
For North Florida here. Not a lot of shooters from deep on the team. They do have it in bulk from the 3 guys that I get it from.
Yep.
But I think it's a good matchup. As I said, the team's 1-3 when shooting 30% or lower from beyond. North Florida has been a very good team from defending from behind the arc all season, outside of that Charleston Southern game. Yeah. And I think it's going to translate to they're finally going to get that win.
Nice.
Yeah. What do you got?
That'd be a great win to come in. I really want to go win as well. I'm not going to, though. I got to be convinced that it's going to happen. The keys that I outlined, I think, are going to be very challenging, especially the rebounding piece of it. That plus 13 is just really
it's going to be a tight game no matter what.
Yes, I think it's going to be a close game for
Whoever
sure.
ends up pulling off that victory.
Yep.
Moving into Austin P now, who's 5-5, still 5-5, obviously, because they were supposed to play last week as well on December 21st against Kansas City. That game was canceled due to the unfortunate and unexpected passing of the team's bus driver. Yeah. So that's obviously a tough and heavy pill to swallow. Our greatest sympathies go out to him and his family and his loved ones, all of you that are involved in that. Definitely hope that you're finding it easy. It's not easy, not finding it easy, but getting through it the best that you can, because it's never easy to lose someone, especially at this time of year that's supposed to be filled with joy. There are no details as well released about his arrangements at all, or any cause of death for his passing or anything like that. We will inform you if there are any details that come out as far as about the arrangements or how you can donate to his family or anything like that to support them. But let's move in. We'll get back to the cheerier side of things. We'll move back to the game that's upcoming for him this week on the 28th at 5:30. They're going to be also on ESPN hosting Fisk, who is an NAIA team. They compete in the HBCU Athletic Conference, HBCU AC. But you notice that in their 13-3 record, all 3 wins have come from where?
From home. Yeah. At home, when they're playing at home. Exactly. Yeah.
No games this past week in the accurate week, at least. Most recent game was on on the 18th, excuse me. 72-67 loss to Tennessee Southern. You may remember that the Firehawks played against North Alabama earlier in the year, lost 92-60 on November 25th. So, keys for this one for me, I'll start us off on this one. Shut down the interior. You got 2 players to defend. These are my 2 keys in the game.
Right.
Mitch C. and Simon Williams II both average over 10 points per game in the month of December here. And C actually 15.3 points per game recently.
Wow.
His year average 10.3. So he's really been balling out lately.
Nice.
Shooting a ridiculous 67%. In the month of December at least, and he shot 70% or better in the past 2 games, but they all are interior shots. He's only shot outside of the arc once this December, and 5 on the year. He hasn't made a 3 all season. Wow. With Williams the second, 13 points per game, leading scorer overall with 13.5 points per game. He's going to take most of his shots from the interior, though. He will drop some from outside. But he'll most likely take at least 10 shots in this game.
Okay.
That seemed to be a trend for him. He was going to take over 10 in pretty much every single game. So defend the interior. That's where it's going to come from.
Right. So I think Rashard Marshall's a big part of that. A key for me is for him to get a double-double. I want to see him just dominate. Again, a dominating inside performance, both ends of the floor. Get 12 rebounds in this game.
There you go.
14 rebounds, something like that. Love to see that.
Nice.
So he's a big key for me. Go ahead.
Okay. That's your overall key. For me, I just talked about the interior game, but you can't let Nicholas Beard-Kennard find his outside shot because he's their 3-point shooter. Shoots 48% from outside overall on the season, so that's a really good number, right? Last 3 games though, 27% from beyond on 26 attempts. So obviously something's going on there. You can't let him find that shot though, because you're probably going to plan for the interior of this game based on what's been going on in the month of December here.
Yep.
And if he gets hot, you can't let that. You got to be prepared for that secondary scoring just in case it does come through.
Exactly right.
So that's my second key.
Very nice. So my second key is turnovers. We know that Austin Peay is really good at turnovers, at creating turnovers and getting steals, and getting Zyrie Collins open court magic. He just finishes with an amazing degree of efficiency. Fisk averages 15 turnovers per game, so it's an opportunity there, I think, for Austin Peay to really take advantage of that stat category right there and really get some points.
Yeah, they've been good at it all season.
Yes, exactly.
Do it again.
Yep.
My last one, have fun. After obviously the unfortunate passing of the bus driver, that can really be a down player for morale. Like I remember on my trips when I was playing sports when I was younger and going on the bus tours and stuff like that. Bus driver was a huge part of the team.
Absolutely.
He was awesome.
Yeah.
Even when we went to go see Vanderbilt, EKU at Vanderbilt, the bus driver, we were sitting
next to the EKU.
He seemed very heavily involved with the team.
And the stories and the history that the players, people like that have to the organizations are so important to them.
It means
for sure.
a lot. So this could be a big morale booster for him.
Yep.
And having that fun, a good way to honor his service to the team.
Exactly right.
By having a big win.
Exactly. We know Coach Gibson is big about service.
Yes. Very much so.
Speaking of service, it's not really a key to the game. I'm interested to see, as our last game going into the ASUN, who gets the minutes in this game here. We've seen the short bench in the last few games. Coach Gibson has said it's intentional. So I want to see who's going to play in this contest and to what roles. To meet up with the matchups that they have that you described very well. Will they come with certain combinations of players? So
I have a feeling Matt Enright's going to start
he probably will. Yes. But how the minutes lay out overall and the combinations of players for me is what I'm curious to see what happens here. So.
Well, what do you got for the result then?
I think it's a solid win. Again, I think the turnover battle is a major one that Austin Peay is going to just take advantage of and run out. So that I don't see any issues there from a concern about the outcome of the game,
nice.
Albeit coming off of the cancellation.
Right.
So,
right.
But how about yourself?
Yeah, I see it as a big win. I think it's going to be. I said it last week when Lipscomb was hosting Blue Mountain Christian that you're playing a struggling NAIA team,
right?
And that's the same case here for Fisk. I think it's going to be a pretty overpowering victory as well.
Yep, for sure.
This one. Moving into Lipscomb, though, who is, and no, I did not do that intentionally. That was just my example. They're 7-5 heading into this week because on December 20th, They got to start Christmas early with a big win,
Yeah.
123-60 over Blue Mountain Christian. The spotlight player in this one was 20 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists from Charlie Williams, which is great for him. I think he really needed a game where he was able to find that comfortability and get going. Leading scorer was Grant Assman, though, with 21 points. He had a great night as well.
Yep.
Lots of guys with career highs in this one, so prepare for this one, guys.
Take a breath. Get a drink.
Grant Assman, 7 2-pointers is his new career high. Another guy got career high in 2-pointers. That would be Kellen Boylan with 6. Ross Candolino, 12 rebound performance, 8 of them on the defensive end, also career highs, along with that 7 assists for him as well.
And that was his first career double-double, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Was his first career double-double. Great callback there. Luke Carter, 10 points, 4 field goals, 2 from 2 and 2 from 3.
Right.
Both career highs, or all those career highs for him as well.
Right. Did you see Coach Carroll after the game talk about that?
I handled the first half of this game, and you handled the second. I didn't get to watch the post-game
interview. He was
interview.
ecstatic. It was the post-game interview. He was just so happy for Luke that not only getting to play a bunch of minutes, but just the way he was able to perform and with all the effort and everything he puts into it. So it was really fun to see that.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Lunky.
That's it, right? No more?
No.
Oh, we got more.
Yeah, but wait, there's more. I'm doing my best Billy Mays. Ethan Duncan had 5 assists as well. Another guy very commonly getting a lot of assists, 12 assists and 5 3-pointers. That's maybe not as common from Mateo Esmeraldo, so good to see him getting going for deep.
Right, that was his third double-double of his career.
Yes, it was. There you go, on top of it with the double-doubles. Kennedy Akpara, 6 rebounds, 3 3-throw makes as well, also career highs for him. And another guy got it done with rebounding. That would be Titas Sargunis, 6 rebounds, all 6 defensive, both career highs for him as well.
Yep.
So great night for them. They looked like they had a lot of fun while they were out there, and it'll hopefully build into this next week. When on the 29th, so we're moving into a new day now. This is on Monday, guys, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Still on ESPN Plus, though. They're going to be playing against the also 7-5 Cincinnati Bearcats.
Right.
Who are coming off a 68-65 loss against Clemson. They got a common opponent, though. You mind taking that away? Because I can feel my voice cracking again.
Common opponent. Sorry, I was not prepared for that.
I can take over.
Sorry, if you could do it. Yeah, sorry.
I got a drink.
I was thinking ahead. I apologize.
Oh, okay. Well, keep thinking ahead and preparing yourself. Both teams did play against Western Carolina, by the way, on the 22nd. Lipscomb won 83-62, and then on opening day, the Bearcats won 94-63. So pretty common scores for the outcome there.
Right.
But we'll obviously, that was from November, so we got to see what they're looking like now. Teams figure themselves out. Lipscomb wasn't the same team on opening day against
totally different
Vanderbilt
scenario, right?
that they are now. So what are your keys, or your first key?
I'm going to start with defense. Defense creates offense. Cincinnati is not a great shooting team. They're 42%, 21% only 21% from 3, 64% from the line. So I think in this scenario here, defense is going to create offense. Just play good fundamental defense. Coach Carroll, after the last game, was actually on his team, even at halftime, saying, "Hey, we're not playing good team defense. We're letting things slide." So really focus on defense. Let that generate. They're good offensive fundamentals.
Okay, cool. Well, I got similar actually. When I said clean defensive intensity on the inside.
Yeah.
So Baba Miller, their leading scorer, about 14 points per game. He also averages a double-double, which he has just over 10 rebounds per game.
Nice.
5-1 when he gets 2 cream, 2 sugar. 5-1, as I said.
Okay. Nice.
1-3 when he does not get a double-double.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's actually correlation there or not, but just
it
a
is.
stat that I noticed.
It's a great stat.
And Grant Assman and Charlie Williams also both got into foul trouble against Duke.
Right.
And they had to be taken out at times when I felt like they really needed them in.
Yep.
So that would be something that I would watch for here going up against another Power 5 opponent. But the main reason I say on the interior is because all of the Bearcats' losses have come from when they've shot the worst on the interior. If you look at it. That's exactly what it is.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah.
that stat doesn't lie.
No, that's a true correlated stat. I'm with you on that one for sure.
What's your second?
My second one is, I call it Feed the Hungry. I think, we know Lipscomb can score. I'd like to see a monster game from somebody, like a 25, 30-point game.
Okay.
With them feeding, and they're really good at distributing the ball.
Grant's had a couple like
Grant's had a couple, but I want to see one of those for this game. I think it's a huge key for them to beat Cincinnati is for someone to have a monster game.
Okay.
Right. So it's not just kind of distributing the ball evenly, as it naturally works out to be. I don't think they force that an even distribution.
They do a great job of sharing the ball.
They really do. But I want to see if someone gets hot, just keep pounding it.
Okay.
Beat it to death.
There we go.
Yep.
So speaking of that, actually, that leads into my next one, kind of opposite here for Cincinnati, because they have 4 of their players outside of Baba Miller that average 10 or more per game.
Yeah. Yes.
Jizzle James just came back. He came back 2 games ago. So he's one of those guys that does it. Mustafa Chiom, second-year player, transfer from UCF. He's the 7'2" center that they have.
Yep.
He's going to be – and that actually might be a problem for the Assman and Williams thing that I was talking about earlier, the staying out of foul trouble, is that Miller's tremendously huge, great wingspan. Chiom, same thing. He's a big boy as well. So got to be ready to play against those. Chiom also averages over 10 per game. The left-handed freshman, that would be Sean Abayev is how you pronounce his name. Huge 6'8" wing. So I have a feeling Or Ashkenazi is going to be on him just because he's
a defensive guy.
I would say, he's their might be one of their best perimeter defenders, or might be the best. And then the second leading scorer, Day Thomas, can get it done both as a scorer or as a playmaker. And that kind of leads into my third one here. Then I'll let you go with your thirds.
Yep.
It's because Kirk Chris is a playmaker as well. That's well known with him being in his 6th year now in the NCAA. But Day does the same thing, and both are kind of hovering around that 4 assists per game mark. Chris is just above it. Day's a little bit below it.
Okay.
But Day's he's their second leading scorer. He's got the ability to do it with his own hand as well. Okay. So there's a lot of players that are going to be thrown at Lipscomb in this one.
Yes.
Gotta be prepared for that.
Right. Similar lines. I want to see Lipscomb play physical. I want to see him get to the foul line. They're actually second to last in the ASUN at free throws attempted, despite being second best at their conversions on free throws. So I want to see him get to the line more, get some free points from Cincinnati here, and obviously get him in foul trouble and all that stuff.
I don't know if this is the game to do it.
I don't know if it is. I'm just saying I think that's a key for them to win this game. I think they've got to get to the line and get free points.
They average 17 personal fouls a game.
Yeah.
Is what Cincinnati does. Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah. Might be a good time to push it.
Right.
So what do you got for your outcome then?
So, and I don't really have a great explanation for it. I think this is a Lipscomb team that's just hot and on fire. No, it's like a statistical correlation or anything like that. They're playing great ball. So I got them winning this contest.
Okay.
I think they're going to roll into the ASUN with a big dub.
I do have a statistical correlation for it, but I'm scared for my statistical because in the games where they've played Power 5 opponents, they've allowed more than 50% shooting on the inside. Okay. I think the number for Cincinnati was when they shot 46 or less, they lost on the inside. But outside of the one when they played against Vanderbilt early in the season, as I talked about, they weren't the same team then.
Right.
Duke was 64% on the inside. You're going against Cameron Boozer. Nothing you can do there. But all of those other games in the past 6 games outside of that Duke game, they've shot right around their opponents have been held under 50 and only once over 46. So that could certainly happen. Right. I'm going with a win.
That's your key to a win, right? Which was your first key, right? It was defend the inside.
Exactly.
Very nice. Yep.
Now moving into Queens, who did not have a game in this past accurate week. We did get a chance to sit down with head coach Grant Leonard, though. Always a good time talking to him. He gave some great information on his Christmas sweater collection, which hope you all had a great Christmas. Let us know what your favorite gift that you got down was down in the comments below.
I have
But-
one sweater, by the way. I have one Christmas sweater.
Yeah, I have one too. I really need to up on my game. He's got a lot more. His answer will be in his interview, which we'll actually put that right up in here. But he talks about more than that. He also talks about the analytics. He's a bit analytics guy, so he talks about how the analytics are looking for Queens so far this season. A little recap on how each rotational player has been developing throughout this season as well. And a little bit of positivity on how the coaching staff, because they seem to be a really big family over there.
Yes.
And
Oh,
so,
gosh,
yeah, a little bit on how they're staying together as a family unit as this season goes on here, especially to a tough non-conference schedule, which is not done on the 29th at 10 p.m. on SEC Network. They're going to play against 8-4 Auburn.
That's right.
Yeah.
What, 10 p.m., 8 a.m., what this scheduling? Whoever's doing their schedule.
I'm wondering if it's intentional. I think he may have mentioned something.
Everything's intentional there.
Yeah,
in Queens,
exactly.
I believe.
So what's your first key for the game?
Well, so I want to. My first key will be free throws. I just talked about that with Lipscomb. I want to see Queens get 20 plus. They average 21. That's the second highest in conference. I want to see them continue that aggressive play, not get intimidated by a Power 5 school here. So and keep the pressure on inside the paint and get into the line.
Okay. Well, you say inside the paint. So similar to this last game, all of Auburn's losses have been when their worst nights are on the shooting from inside. So that clean interior defense, I'm going to make another point in this one.
Right.
That's something else that you've got to do as well.
Yeah.
What else do you got, though?
Well, to that point, though, so of the Power 5 are the seeded opponents that Auburn has played, they're 1-4 against them. The average seed of those 5 opponents is 3.5.
Yeah.
Ranked 3rd or 4th in the country, so it could contribute to some of that for sure. My second point, winning the rebound battle. Here we know Queens has struggled a bit with that. They got to just win it. They've got to gut out and win a defensive battle. We see maybe Mabon.
He might
play a bigger, more active role in the defensive end. Anybody. I mean, they have the length and strength, I think, to do it. But we need to see it here for a victory.
Yes. Well, I agree. I got 40-minute defense on mine. I mean, Nazman and Coach and Austin, when I texted with them about it, they all said, hey, if we can play some good, consistent defense, we can be a deadly team.
Right.
So I think that they got to find that here. They've all been talking about it. Now let's actually do it.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, that's not a secret. Exactly. Right. We know that.
Right.
My third key is Chris Ashby. No pressure on Chris. Sorry. So they in the 4 Power 5 games they've played so far against Arkansas and UVA, he's been 1 for 9 in each of those games shooting. Against Wake Forest and Villanova, 5 for 12, 4 out of 5, and 4 for 5 from shooting. So he's had split games against them. I think for them to win, he's got to have one of those big games.
Stronger
Certainly, we know the impact he can have when he gets on fire.
Yes,
it adds a huge element to their. He's unstoppable.
Yes,
right?
Exactly. Once he gets going from 3,
right.
he's going.
We know he's going to shoot him. Let's hopefully they'll fall for him in this game. So
nice.
Yes, your third key.
My third key: force Todd Pettiford to play make for others, not play make for himself.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't had a game since November 25th where he's had more than 2 assists in a contest.
Wow.
And the team actually really doesn't share the rock too much overall.
Correct.
But averaging 17.5 points per game since that November 25th time. Averages 15.2 on the season. But yeah, we watched a lot of Auburn last year. I loved Todd Pettiford's game.
Yep.
I think if you can force him to play make rather than score, you might have a shot in this one.
Right.
But he's not their only scorer either, I think.
No.
So overall, I do think it's still a loss. We got Kashawn Hall, who's also a transfer from UCF. Averages over 20 per game.
Yeah.
And just overall, as you mentioned earlier, with the Auburn's losses are coming to the blue bloods of college.
Exactly.
This year.
Right.
So
that's right.
I think it's a winnable game, but Queens has to really step up here.
Yep, exactly. They also have Elijah Freeman, 6'8", sophomore. He's had 8.8 average, but he's had a 21-point game against Wofford.
Ooh.
He's had a 14-point game and a 19-point against Chattanooga, some common opponents there.
Nice, good find.
Yeah. Yeah, but he's had several good rebounding plus games, too. I've got it as a loss as well. Again, I think the defensive or rebounding battle, I think is going to be very tough. Again, I think they need to win it outright, but I think it's going to be a big challenge. 14 offensive rebounds per game for Auburn. tough one, right? That's really where the interior defense is going to be huge. So.
Yes.
But I think it's going to be a close game, but a loss.
Okay. Yeah, I let's get it within single digits.
Single digits, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
let's
That's what
get
I'm
it within
thinking.
single digits for this one to round out the year.
That's right.
Now, moving into the teams that don't have a game for this upcoming week here. Bellarmine is 5-7 heading into conference play. They lost 99-85 against I almost said Eastern Kentucky, against Kentucky, UK. This one we're going to do a little bit more analysis on the actual games themselves in this,
right.
just because they don't have a game coming up. We don't have anything to analyze for that.
Right.
So, what was the big one for you in this one?
They drew 23 fouls on UK. 23, that's a monster number in one game. Also hit 26 of their 30 free throws. Bellarmine's a great free throw shooting team, first in the conference, and they actually upped their percentage in this game. So that was incredible. Jack Karasinski with a nice, as a typical game, I would say, for Jack. 24 points,
Yeah.
4 rebounds, 2 assists. He's just lights out, and he can create from all 3 levels of the floor. Great scorer there. Speaking of shooting the lights out, though, who else shot the lights out?
Yeah, Cam Williams.
Yeah.
Kentucky in general, they shot 16 of 30 from deep.
Yeah.
But Cam Williams was a big reason for
He
that.
had 8, I think. Right?
I take it Owe also got, I think, first career double-double from assists in that one. Or, yeah, he did, because he set a new career high in assists. But career highs for the Knights players, Donovan Hunter, 10 points, and 4 field goal makes is that high. Plus, he tied his one offensive rebound, which, as we talked about, he's been playing more on the perimeter this year. Yeah. But he's now 2 games in a row. He's set.
He's looking.
He scored his first 2 from the free throw line, and now he got an offensive rebound, which ties his career high. Might be playing more on the interior this year.
He's finding more of
this upcoming games.
Exactly. It seems like he's finding a comfort role for himself with Jacob Losser being out. Maybe create a little bit of a hole there for another player that can play.
Hey, and he's got the size at 6'8" to do it, in an offense that doesn't really have that outside of Wassler, that traditional big.
Correct.
They play more of that kind of NBA style. Perimeter off, or well, not even. No, I'm sorry. They play perimeter offense, but then it leads into the interior. Is what I mean by that.
Right.
They play
they spread the
rotation,
floor and get it.
That motion offense. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
And Darius Bolden as well also got a career high 3 steals in this one. So yeah, awesome night for him as well to do that.
Absolutely.
Moving into next, Central Arkansas was 5-8. Heading into ASUN play on the 21st, they lost 99-82. Another team beaten an ASUN team with a score of 99. But this one was a great performance as well.
I love the first half. Yeah, go watch it. Just go watch it. What I really liked about what the Bears did was if they took a good shot, they would pass up a very good shot for the shot. The entire first half, it was a game of runs back and forth. They had an answer every time, and it was from doing exactly that. They had one more pass to create the right play. It was just fantastic to watch. Guys like Luke Moore, Truman Burton are really, I think, are finding their roles as well. You see them play a lot more common, or a lot more confidence when they're on the floor and knowing what they're trying to execute. So
yeah, I would say Harry Beecham's another guy that's really found that confidence as well. And speaking of confidence, you've been seeing it play back and forth. But Ty Robinson, 28 points, new career high for him. 4 2-pointers as well, but he was getting it done from 3 too.
Yep.
But Beecham, I said his name as well because he got 5 assists in this one. He's really finding that because he kind of plays that secondary ball handler role.
Yeah.
Or that main ball.
His main ball handler.
Main ball. I meant secondary. Like Luke Moore's the main ball handler, and then Harry he'll come in. He'll play the secondary role, or he'll come in as that point guard.
Yep.
Since someone's no longer on the team, which we'll talk about that next week.
Yeah.
When it comes to that. And then Javion Guy King, 16 points, which ties his career high. 4 3-pointers.
Oh, he was the epitome of the first half, what I was describing before. I think he had 13 at the half, or 11 or 13. He was playing amazing.
Well, we've been talking about him all season as kind of the spark plug for the team. Whenever he's performing well, it seems I would say he's been the most consistent quality performer. I'm outside of Cam Hunter. Cam Hunter's been incredibly leads the team in points multiple times.
Yeah.
But that secondary guy that you really need to come and provide that spark for you, Javion's done a great job of doing that so far this season.
Exactly. So that's 2 games now where Power 5 games where Central Arkansas is really held in there. Right? They're showing.
I don't want to give away for next week at all.
Right, they're growing.
Then on the 21st as well, EKU dropped to 4-9, 88-57 lost to Wichita State. First start for Turner Buttrey this year, though. I gotta plug my laptop in, otherwise it's gonna die. So why don't you continue to give away some stuff?
Yeah, after a really nice game, I forget if they played the game before. They really seemed to come together. Turner even said that after the game, we had some great practices. You could see a bunch of energy and compete level like really raised. They kind of just threw I don't know what happened. I was against Jacksonville State. The game before, they just sort of fizzled on this one. I'm not sure what happened there. A major, a 9-minute 30-second dry run where they got outscored 22-zip in the first half. Really just said it, but it just didn't even look right. Right? They just looked off. They were just
Just say 2 steps forward, 4 giant leaps, step back in this one. But
yeah.
Hopefully it doesn't stay that way. Hopefully it was just a one-day step back.
Exactly right. And they are short. They're short players. The 5 starters all played over 27 minutes each. Most off the bench. Jackson Holt did have a nice game. 9 points, 3 for 7 from threes. Playing 18 minutes. That was the most minutes of anybody off the bench was Jackson at 18, which is unusual.
Right.
And only I think 9 players played total. So. A tough loss for EKU. Hopefully they regroup and hit ASUN running and get healthy.
I think
that's
they're
a big
a team
thing
that
for them.
a lot of people are sleeping on coming into it. I've been saying
every
week after week here, don't sleep on them coming into it.
Exactly.
Another team that had a tough loss though, now dropping to below that 500 mark, 5-6 North Alabama. On the 19th, they lost 91-57 to Loyola Marymount. Cornelius Williams had a nice game though. He had a 14-point. 11 rebound, double-double. He wasn't the only guy that had a good game.
Right, and we were talking to Cornelius, so we talked about that as one of the things we want to see from them because he had we don't know if he was partly hurt or whatever that he had
since that Clemson game, it looked like it was something a little bit different.
So a nice bounce back game in this scenario.
Yeah, I think it was 8 for 8 from the line or something like that.
He had a good
game.
free throw shooting game, exactly, but he got to the line a lot.
Yes, he did. That's where a lot of his points came from. I think he was like 3 for 8 overall from the field.
Right, but yeah, while you're looking that up, but Cortez Graham Howard, excellent game, did damage off the paint, in the paint off the bounce, 9 points, 2 blocks, 3 free throws made, all career bests. He just looked confident out there. He really was that. I think that was another one of my keys was find more guard play, more scoring, and he certainly delivered in that context. Yep.
I found it, by the way. 3 for 7 from the floor, and then obviously all 2s.
Right.
And then 8 for 11 from the line.
Okay.
So
that's right. I remember we missed a couple.
Probably, my guess would be based on how much he was getting fouled with the 2-point misses.
Yeah.
My guess would be he was probably getting fouled on some of those misses, and they just didn't get called.
Exactly.
But yeah, it was.
The reffing. I'm not going to blame reffing by any means. But that was an oddly right from the get-go. The officiating was kind of odd.
Yeah, you were complaining about it pretty much every step of the way.
Yeah,
you were shouting about it.
I just thought they were calling the game weird. It was and it seemed like the Lions were confused on it. Honestly, it looked like
which Lions?
The Lions. The Lions.
Maybe both teams by the way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, North Alabama seemed a bit like miffed by some of the calls.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Anyways,
then moving into 5-8 Jacksonville. So on the 22nd, they played against Florida State. They unfortunately went about 8.5 minutes in this one without scoring during the first, which kind of dropped them out of it. They did battle the entire way though, and didn't have any quit. But with this one, big point to note out: Jalen Jones did not play at all, and that impact was really missed. Like, they didn't really have that interior scoring going at all for him, especially in the first, until Chris Lockett Jr. started providing that spark for him. So, career high for him, 18-point night, 7 free throw makes as well. Also tied his field goal makes with 5. 7 rebounds, all of them on the defensive end, both career highs in those categories as well. 5 2-point makes for Hayden Wood as well, so that sets a new career high for him. Right. Evan Sturck tied his career high of 3 steals.
So that'll get broke. He'll break that again and again and again.
Yeah.
He's a nice defender.
Yes, he is.
So
he's just so quick. His lateral movement's so quick. His first step is incredible. I don't know if it's still a badge in 2K or not. with the quick first step badge. He'd have the Hall of Famer one for sure. He's got that for sure. But yeah,
Nice.
it was just an off night for Jacksonville. I think they'll go into conference play with a little bit more confidence.
Right, they only shot 5 out of 31. 5 out of 31, 16% from deep. That was a rough one.
Yeah,
For sure.
In the Robert McRae Bowl.
Yes, in the Robert McRae.
And the Fly Bowl as well,
Yeah,
actually.
there's a lot of stuff going on there.
Now flies to GM. I think it's to GM for Florida State. Moving into Stetson, another Florida team. 4-9 heading into conference play. A 107-54 loss on the 22nd to Oklahoma. You predicted this as a win, and that did not happen to be the case. What you kind of see in that one?
The OU game, I mean, OU just shot the lights out is probably the best way to say it. I think they set a record. I didn't write it down in here, but they set a record for field goals efficiency shooting.
Oh, nice.
And
I'll
they
find
had
that for
and
you.
they had the deep bench in the last 3 or 4 minutes in this contest, 107-54. That was really it. I mean, it was odd though that Stetson matched their shot total in this game somehow, but they got out rebounded by a big margin as well. So, but I just thought the shot total was interesting, but Oklahoma just couldn't miss. I like Colin Coole's game as well. 8 points, 3 rebounds. Only played 16 minutes in this one.
Interesting.
I thought he looked great. He looked very active, very under control, and really played a nice game, but only 16 minutes. We did have one career high. Calvin Bobo Sermons with 2 3-pointers.
There you go. Yeah,
So
I
nice
like
to
that.
see.
He's been getting more confident from the 3-point line.
Yeah.
Just more confidence in general as we.
Well, we saw him earlier in the year getting in the paint a lot, but and really strictly being a playmaker, distributor. And then I think teams kind of caught on to that, so it's nice to see him make these adjustments the last couple games and start to shoot the rock a bit more too.
Yeah. They shot 68% from the floor, by the way, Oklahoma.
68%.
Yeah, that's
from
the
floor.
career high that.
But they were like 80% at
the
one point.
program high that they set.
Right, 80% deep into the game or something ridiculous like that. It was unreal.
And then that's crazy. And then finally to round us out, we got 6-6 West Georgia. So one of the few teams heading into ASUN play at that 500 mark or above. They had a really good non-con. They obviously opened the world a lot as far as what expectations were for them outside of you, because you expected a lot from them all season here. Did lose 103-74 to 25th ranked Georgia though on the 22nd. Sheldon Williams-Dryden, a 23.9 rebound, 4 assist game. Also chipped in 4 steals in that one. But the Bulldogs were ready to play. They knew that West Georgia was a team that could be an upset candidate. Yeah. And they did not come and underestimate them at all.
No, they came out with a full court press pretty much right from the get-go. It really took a lot of the wind out of this, made it hard for West Georgia to get the ball.
That was the difference in this one, was the turnovers for sure.
And they didn't let up on it either. They pretty much were in it the whole game, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, exactly.
17 turnovers were forced. Chaz Lulis, second game in a row. He hasn't, second game, right?
Second game in a row.
He hasn't played, unfortunately. And West Georgia scored 24 off of those 17 turnovers. Yeah.
Some career highs though. One guy that's been stepping up in lieu of Chaz Lulis. I did not intend to do that either. But Malcolm Noel. Sorry, hold on. I gotta collect myself so I can get through this properly for Malcolm. But Malcolm Noel set a new career high, 16 points. 4 of those shots came from 2, which is also career high for him. And then 5 free throw makes as well. High career highs of 4 rebounds, 4 defensive rebounds, and field goal makes with 5. So he had a monster game for himself. And that's not the only time he's done that against a Power 5 opponent, as well, as far as had a really good game against them. Another guy that had a really, really, really good game. Javar Daniel, 3 3-point makes. Chipped in a couple fouls, although he didn't tie anything for that. Right. But tied career high 15 points and 5 field goal makes. He had a really solid performance. And
I loved it. I think the first one he shot, he's kind of he was so wide open. I guess I'll shoot it. And then he just started firing.
Exactly.
It was great.
Shoot more, Javar, from deep. And then Brady Hardaway also got his first career block.
That's awesome.
In this game as well.
Yeah, very nice.
So, yeah, that was awesome.
It was a good game. Yeah, they just that one element was really just.
It was the turnovers. Yeah, the turnovers on the baseline and bounce. That. It was after they got scored on. Full court press was there right away, and they unfortunately West Georgia just didn't know how to handle it. They didn't have anyone coming back. It looked like
it was a little too one-dimensional. They got stuck in the corners and
No, I meant like coming back when they were trying to inbound the ball. Yeah.
But if they got it into the corner, they got it in the corners, and then they were stuck with no one coming back.
Yes, you are correct when it came to that there.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep. They got pinched out.
So that concludes our non-conference portion of the Accurate basketball season. Thank you for all of you that have stuck with us throughout this non-conference portion along the way, and we hope you'll continue to look forward with us as we start releasing on Tuesday and we're gonna give you away our. Should I tell them what we're going to do?
I gotta give it a teaser, yes, absolutely.
All right. Yes. So, we are going to recap what we are kind of change what we're going to do. We're going to predict what we did at the beginning of the season, predict our standings for where the teams were going to finish. We're going to redo that. We're also going to redo our player award projections for the upcoming part of the year. And then, of course, we're going to continue to give you our week in reviews and our what's upcoming for the week there. So you can expect those team-by-team week reviews for at least the teams that are playing in this week here. Only 5 games to cover for this one. And then we'll get back to those daily upcomings. So thank you once again for sticking with us throughout this time. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Share this to a friend as well that you think might be interested in it. And until next time, take care.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.